Taking a look at some of the top stories we're following right now on ANF Plus, there is a manhunt underway that, of course, we've been telling you about in Coweta County. Well, now a $5,000 reward is being offered to catch this man who police say shot a K-9 officer during a chase. It's day 3 of the search in Coweta County for 51-year-old Ira Williams. This announcement of this reward comes after multiple law enforcement agencies spent the overnight hours searching multiple locations for him. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is at the sheriff's office with much more.
Overnight, a massive police presence near Glandon Elementary School in Grantville. With a helicopter and drones in the air, officers searched the woods for Ira Williams before clearing the scene around 2 in the morning. And 2 hours later, this was the scene off Blue Creek Road in Hogansville, right on the line between Troup and Coweta counties. Several law enforcement agencies were searching around houses and in the nearby woods. They wrapped up about 5 o'clock this morning with no luck finding their suspect. It's been 3 days since law enforcement officials say 51-year-old Williams led them on a chase down I-85 South and shot at Coweta County deputies and Georgia State Patrol troopers, hitting a GSP K-9. Since then, multiple law enforcement agencies have been trying to track down the man after he ran into the woods near Calico Loop in Grantville Wednesday afternoon.
There were probably 30 to 40 police cars all up and down the road. Most of them were looking in the woods. They were all congregated over there in the woods.
Now a $5,000 reward is on the table from the U.S. Marshals Office for any information leading directly to an arrest. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says Williams is now charged with aggravated assault. The good news in all of this, though, is K-9 Amor is recovering after getting shot and airlifted to a veterinary hospital. The nonprofit K-9 Memorial WRTP shared this photo, and they say Amor will be out of work for a few months while he heals.
And Coweta County officials say that Williams is considered armed and dangerous, and he's believed to have had an AR-15 with him when he ran from deputies. So obviously do not approach if you see him. You're asked to contact police. And again, police asking, and GBI and U.S. Marshals now involved in the search, but they're asking everyone remain vigilant, report anything suspicious. If you see that man, do not approach, just contact them. All right, let's talk about the holiday travel season. So many of us are traveling, or we're expecting people who are traveling to see us. And starting today, millions of Georgians are going to journey across the state and the country to be with family and friends for Christmas, or have folks come to them. Atlanta News First reporter Joshua Skinner is at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with a closer look.
Yeah, it might be the most wonderful time of the year, but it's also one of the most traveled times of the year. But even with all that stress of holiday travel, most people here this morning putting big smiles on their faces. The main checkpoint here at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport going about 40 minutes or so earlier this morning. Lines backed up all the way through the stanchions up to the escalator. The north checkpoint was full as well. A whole military brigade came through. That also slowed down traffic quite a bit. But as the morning went on, it began to clear up. Now about 3.7 million Georgians are expected to travel at least 50 miles from home to celebrate Christmas. That's about 100,000 or so more people than last year. And if we don't set an overall Christmas travel record with those numbers, we're going to get pretty close. And as I mentioned, even though it was quite hectic this morning, everyone wanted to have a smile on their face.
Honestly, I think a lot of it's the Christmas time, and everyone's like, shoot, we're moving for Christmas. I've noticed over the past week, lights are coming in. Like, it's starting to feel a little more Christmassy, at least for me. And I feel like people are feeling that.
Yeah,
so at least me, like, I'm smiling. I feel like they're smiling. It's like, hey, we're about to go vacation. We're off for work, go see family. I love it.
Now, as of early this afternoon, the traffic, as you can see, kind of died down a little bit. We're expecting this, though, to pick up as the evening goes along, but the middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, kind of when we're seeing the calmest time, only about a 6-7 minute wait right now, but we are again expecting that to pick up as the evening moves along. But again, everyone also having a smile on their face. Reporting at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
And, day 2 now of the Amazon strike in Alpharetta, Metro Atlanta Amazon workers on the picket line, again, striking for better working conditions. And, we showed you that footage where we captured at least a dozen workers protesting outside the Alpharetta facility. They're telling Atlanta News First that they're overworked, underpaid, that they're treated unfairly. The Teamsters Union organized that strike. An Amazon spokesperson has told Atlanta News First that the Teamsters have continued to intentionally mislead the public, claiming they represent thousands of Amazon employees and drivers when in fact they do not. But obviously we're going to keep following the latest with that and covering every angle of this story. Obviously there are different sides depending on who you're talking to there. Okay, let's turn now to an ANF investigation. More people moving into Georgia, vacant land becoming more and more valuable. Well, scammers are looking to make easy money off of selling land that actually does not even belong to them. Sham sellers are apparently targeting Lamar County, south of Atlanta, where a significant amount of residential development has been taking place. Atlanta News First investigative reporter Anastasia almost uncovered what's happening.
This type of fraud is easier than the average real estate scam because there's no home on the land that requires a key to show potential buyers. And for the fraud in Lamar County, we found that the scammers are targeting at least 7 property owners who live out of state.
Just land. A lot of land.
It's a lot of land.
20.65 acres.
In Barnesville, Georgia.
I purchased the land in 1996.
While stationed at the former Fort Gillum, 31-year-old Army Sergeant Tracy Quintella Brown saw this land as her future.
My plan was once I retired that I would build my retirement home on this land.
Now about 1 year away from that dream,
I started to do the research to see what was in the area because I don't do much cooking.
While looking at restaurants near her vacant property, a Zillow ad popped up.
I don't know why or how because I didn't put it up for sale.
Her entire life's dream listed for $175,000.
The realtor company didn't give me any information at all.
Then she saw she had a voicemail, and when she called the man back,
he said something like, "We got a contract on your lot."
Her name was electronically signed on the contract. The contact number wasn't her phone, and whoever this was didn't even spell her name right in the email address. Veterans Day week, Brown drove down from Virginia to meet with Atlanta News First Investigates so we could figure out what was going on.
It's our pleasure to meet you.
We found Edward Turner, the man who left the voicemail. He lives next door to Brown's property and wanted to buy her land to build a pond for his son. To his surprise, the seller accepted $75,000 less than asking.
This is that night where they say congratulations.
Turner was just hours away from wire transferring $100,000 to who he thought was Brown when she returned his call.
Had I not received that call, we wouldn't have known that it was fraud until possibly weeks later.
But it isn't just Brown's property. Atlanta News First Investigates found several real estate agents across Lamar County who were seeing similar red flags with properties that they were listing for sale, like this one.
That is the fake driver's license.
Real estate agent Danny Turner says another realtor contacted him about a fake out-of-state driver's license from a seller, which prompted him to triple-check his listings.
The man that this guy was portraying was a friend of mine's uncle. And I called my friend, and he said, yeah, Uncle Gary's not selling his land.
Down the street, realtor Joseph Sims caught the same sham.
In Florida, your license number starts with your last initial.
This man's last name started with an M, but the number started with an O. Sims says he checked an online background database called Forewarn to verify the information, and when he called the number listed,
he says, that's my license that expired 4 years ago. That's not my picture.
Prior to September, we haven't had any real estate fraud cases ever. This is the first time.
The Lamar County Sheriff's Office confirmed they're investigating at least 7 fraudulent property listings from August through October, including a report from the county tax assessor's office stating someone filed fraudulent deeds on 4 vacant properties.
It could be the same person, could be multiple people. Don't know.
In at least 2 cases, the sham seller said they were traveling to London for a wedding, but investigators don't think they even live in the U.S.
A lot of the phone numbers don't originate from the United States.
I'm just grateful that we made contact in time.
Now it's back to planning her dream home.
About 7 acres forward is where I picture it.
And maybe a small pond for her new neighbor.
No, that's on the back side, maybe.
The FBI tells us they are aware of this type of fraud happening around Georgia, and people should report it. Now, we tried to contact the real estate agent with Coldwell Banker who listed Brown's property and wrote that contract, but we have not heard back. Now, the best way for realtors to avoid falling victim is to check a seller's information with the tax assessor's office or land records with the Superior Court clerk. If you don't pay for a database like Forewarn, simply Google the person to see if you can match any information. Now, as you saw in that story, verify driver's licenses for errors and inconsistencies, and if possible, sign contracts in person or with an attorney present with each party. Now, we have this information as well as steps you can take to protect your own property. That's on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. I'm Anastasia Olmos. Atlanta News First investigates.
And take a look at this, a reminder for your family, the magic of lights running at Dixie Motor Speedway in Woodstock. Atlanta News First is proud to be the media partner of Magic of Lights this year, and we will take you there live starting this evening at 4 p.m. on Atlanta News First. If you want to watch, our first alert meteorologist, Cutter Martin, is going to be out there. We also have a dedicated page on atlantanewsfirst.com where you can get your tickets right now, starting at $23 per car. Well, thanks so much for being with us. More on all of our top stories on atlantanewsfirst.com and Atlanta News First, our free app. Now back to Local News Live.